And I'm just preparing to go live on Facebook, so that takes a moment to connect. And once we've got that, we can get started. Okay, so here we are. Excellent. Wonderful. And now I need to find my actual Zoom. Okay, so do me a favor, please, and go in the chat and let me know that you can hear me, and also where you're coming from, so that we have a little bit of an idea where everybody is coming from. And a nice side effect, when there is action in the chat, Facebook thinks it's an important thing to stream and more people get to know about it. So, okay, great. Christy is here. Fabulous. Okay, I'm super excited. I have been waiting and working on this for not just weeks, but months. And if you sometimes see me look a little bit to the side, that's because I have people in the waiting room coming in. Helen, I know, is here from the UK. And she stayed up for the big announcement. And yeah, looks like we are live. So this is all going super well. I'm excited. So the big announcement is coming up, and I actually created a slideshow. Marie is here from Washington. Awesome. So that we can see a little bit the development and the evolving of Genuine Connections Horse Womanship, and why we're at where we are now. So let me just go to the next step and actually share my screen. And there's the first little problem, that my screen isn't there. So give me a moment that I can actually pull that up and it will show. It's always exciting to get to go where you want to go. It should be Firefox, so let me try that real quick. And if not, then that is not coming up. So why is it not coming up? Stop share, bear with me. Let's see whether I can create this. There we go. And it should pick it up. It should, right? That's always the best part of it. It should be doing a lot of things. And for whatever reason, let me just close this again. Angel is here as well. Let me just close this again and see whether it will pick it up now. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll share the desktop, and then I pull it up on my desktop, and then you guys should see it. Can everybody see me with 4 of my horses going yay? Okay, awesome. Okay, good. I'm glad this is working. So let me see whether I can actually pull up a little bit of a nicer version view slideshow. Here we are. So I want to talk about today about the Genuine Connections Horsewomanship Makeover. And it's been long in the making, so I am super excited about it. And let's go to the next slide, because some of you might not really know what Genuine Connections Horsewomanship is about. And this has been really a development since 2013 and even before, but it really started 11 years ago. And then the online part, or the concentration of being online, really started in 2020. after I got COVID in March of 2020, and now we have April 2024. So it's the 4-year anniversary of going online and creating all this course material around being and becoming the lead. And for me, there are 5 vital principles that gets us there. First of all, that we foster female leadership principles. When I was a Pirelli instructor, I was eventually excited about the fact that I made progress and that I could share that progress with my students. Eventually, I realized that despite that, I personally think it's oodles better than traditional horse training, that it is still a patriarchal way and a dominance-based way of horsemanship, and that in the end, no horse follows the dominant stallion, and all horses follow the lead mare. The dominant stallion's major job is procreation and protection, while the lead mare is actually in the front, all horses following her, no questions asked. This idea to set healthy boundaries, and if you are here, then you're most likely a heart-centered horsewoman, and we in general struggle a little bit with setting healthy boundaries. And for me, it's super exciting that this is actually a self-development aspect, that we can learn to set boundaries between ourselves and our horse, for ourselves, as well as with others, and that really elevates our everyday life. That we can deal with confidence, anxiety, and fear issues in ourselves as well as our horse by finding and honoring, addressing, and releasing mini and micro thresholds. And a lot of times people ask me, what are mini and micro thresholds? And the reason why people ask that is because nobody really talks about the reduced blinking rate, the eye halfway shut, the lips tightly closed, the hidden licking and chewing, the tension in the poll area that we just constantly see, and we're saying, oh, my horse is Morgan and he's got a high headset, or my horse is a gated horse and that's why my horse has a high headset. Those little tail swishes, the tongue pressed against the roof of the mouth, it is barely ever talked about, and I feel that there is the opportunity for us, to learn more about our horse's language and what they're trying to communicate, but also to help ourselves and our horse to feel safe, empowered, and confident together. Because once we overlook those mini and micro thresholds, we're starting to layer every step that we do on a response to a threshold. And that is, in my opinion, why so many scary experiences and accidents with horses happen, and why our hobby is looked at as a dangerous hobby. From my perspective, horsewomanship needs to be like going to the mailbox. Can you stumble and fall going to the mailbox? Of course you can, but what are the chances? And when we set it up that our horse and we feel safe, empowered, and confident together, we can avoid and even eliminate scary experiences and even accidents. And this idea then goes to the 4th step, the triple X relaxation strategy, where we start in relaxation and we go back to relaxation to end with relaxation. And why would we want to do that? Because when we have relaxation, that means that neither we nor our horse have brace, tension, stress, worry, anxiety, and fear, and that we can feel peaceful. This idea of love, peace, and understanding is for me such a vital aspect of being in our horsewomanship and in our everyday life, because so many things in our life are not loving, are not peaceful, are lacking understanding. And here's a wonderful opportunity for us to foster that in ourselves with our horse and others. And this idea that becoming the lead mare is really all about these amazing female qualities that we have, and that we can create lightness through softness. We don't have to use escalating phases. We don't have to use pressure and control based training techniques. And I just saw today, again, these posts now are popping up. Oh, there are these people. That's exactly what it said in this post. There are these people that don't like pressure. And from my perspective, when you're looking at the definition of pressure, it's something that is negative. And that's why I would really like to encourage everybody to look at the idea that we can use a feel. And the feel can be 3 ounces, 100 grams. And that for me is not considered pressure. That is a communication tool. And horses are so perceptive that to me, that is something that is absolutely possible. I see it on a daily basis in my mentorship and with myself and all the horses and humans that I get to be in touch with. So for me, results that you can expect with genuine connections, horsewomanship is the idea that you have relaxation for horse and human. What I already talked about, love, peace, understanding, that we can foster mental, emotional, and physical balance, which help us in our everyday life as well. That we can dissolve self-preservation and self-protection in our horse and in ourselves. Again, this idea of setting healthy boundaries, that we don't have to be dominant, which we heart-centered humans don't like, but we're being told we have to. But that we're also not passive, but that we learn to be calmly confident. Like I said, avoiding eliminating scary experiences and even accidents, that you can expand your comfort and confidence zone for yourself and for your horse, that you're creating that foundation for lasting wellness. Horses are not built to carry a rider. And what I've seen in Pirelli is that in level 1 and level 2, we never really talked about posture. And suddenly in level 3, that's when the problems happened. And we need to look at healthy posture and proper biomechanics all the time. And they're literally impossible if your horse has any form of missing relaxation. When there's brace tension, stress, worry, anxiety, your horse really cannot have healthy posture and proper biomechanics. What I have seen lately is that there are some courses that really focus on the physical aspect of healthy posture. And I still see that there is mental and emotional relaxation missing. Sometimes I sign up for other people's classes. So I went ahead and signed up for one of these courses. And one of the first things that I saw was that the horse was mentally and emotionally really, really stressed out. The student was trying to teach the horse a physical exercise and was being told to yank on the lead rope and to make it impossible for the horse to bite the lead rope, which was attached to a cover saw. And the cover saw was one of those that have metal on the inside. And that's when I resigned from that particular course. You can dissolve all these horse problems that people are regularly experiences, whether it's nipping, biting, striking, kicking, bucking, herdbound, pushiness, food aggression, whether your horse is currently shut down or people think your horse is dull, unresponsive, oppositional, avoiding affection, crabby attitude, all of that can really be dissolved by looking at all the things that I've just talked about. And last not least, we can increase our joy, because I see so many horse women that were so excited to get their horse, and then gradually the joy was less and less and less because the problems that developed. Why me? It's going to be really, really short. I started out in a German riding school. I volunteered for years at a horse rescue. I started boarding horses and teaching in the 1990s in Germany. I had my own scary riding accident. If you know me, you've heard about it. I flew through the air, hit the ground with my face first, and the fence post was right in front of my eyes. I could have been paralyzed. I could have died. My horses were in self-preservation and self-protection, and I felt really powerless what to do about that back then. And I listened to all the traditional advice. I felt utterly stuck and sad and mad and frustrated, feeling like a failure. The idea that Pirelli natural horsemanship showed up in my life, that I made these step-by-step instructions that helped me so much and I got quick results, became an instructor, and then first the success happened, and then slowly but surely the disillusion, and I resigned and decided I just want to create my own program so that I can do what I feel is right and that I don't have to do what other people I should be doing. And Genuine Connections Horsewomanship was born. Since then, I have been working with Dr. Patrick Handley. Some of you might have done the relationship transformation course with us. We had 100% positive feedback from that course, and that was really my first entry into teaching online. My program was approved for a practicum in the equine science program at the Scottsdale College. Like I said, I've been teaching online since 2013. Retreats are back, yay! If you ever want to visit Soulfire Farm, I have retreats happening. I have thousands of Genuine Connections students worldwide now in all kinds of countries. I created several courses. In 2022. I started the instructor program. Last year, I kind of concentrated on mini workshops. And this is what I created now, right here. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. And this is basically an overview of the program now. And what I would like to do over the next week or so, pick individual parts of the program and talk a little bit about it so that you get to understand where I'm coming from, what's important, and whether my program is right for you if you're not in it at all. And for my students, I know a lot of my mentorship students are here today. This whole makeup idea will make sense as we go through this. So I've created this graphic over the last few months, and I want to give everybody a taste of Genuine Connections horsewomanship starting today. And my biggest and most important subject is always the idea that we want to make sure that we and our horse feel confident together, because I know what it's like to lose your confidence. It was for me not just weeks or months, it was years. I was ready to give up. And that's what I thought I would concentrate on today. So when you're looking at this pyramid and those three circles that are attached to it, when I became interested in classical dressage, I thought that this idea that rhythm creates relaxation is really so true. And it's true in our everyday life for ourselves. It's true for our horses. And when we can create relaxation, then we have that foundation for interconnection. It's really important for me that interconnection has that word interconnection in it, not just connection, because so many people have realized that jumping on the bandwagon of connection is a good marketing deal. And then when you look at what people teach and how they interact with horses and humans, it's not so much about connection at all. A lot of them just keep doing what they're doing and they're just creating a new marketing package. And so for me, it is that we're offering our horse connection. We're not expecting connection. One of my all-time favorite people is Frederic Pignon and his wife Magali Delgado. I think they're one of those amazing people in the horse industry that really truly are interested in giving the horse a good deal, and that they're also generally kind and caring people when you attend one of their clinics or workshops. And I had the opportunity to study twice with them. And this idea that students came and wanted to learn connection. And I remember there was a lady, and her horse could do all kinds of things, but with missing relaxation. And so Frederic said, so tell me all about, why are you here? What would you like to create and achieve? And the horse owner said, well, I would like for my horse to really connect with me. And he said, why are you not connecting with your horse? I saw your horse swish the tail. I saw your horse have a snarky facial expression. I saw your horse having missing relaxation, and you never addressed that. So we want the connection from our horse, but often we're missing to connect with our horse because we don't know what we're looking for. And then, of course, when rhythm relaxation and interconnection is present, then yes, we can feel safe, empowered, and confident together. And that little sign on the top there, I actually created that after my mom had passed. I was on the beach in St. Croix, and this suddenly came to me that there is this yin and yang balance with the horse, and that we need to have balance in order to create this wonderful relationship that we're all craving for. My goal is for you to become the lead mare in your horsewomanship as well as in your everyday life. And this idea, we need to know where we currently are. We need to take inventory on the left bottom, and we need to know where we want to go to create that roadmap. And that for me was always the most important thing in my mentorship, that I create an individual roadmap for you and your horse based on your needs, based on your horse's needs, and on your schedule. So when people say to me, do I have time to do this? Yes, you do, because we just work with a schedule that you have. Nobody is ever ahead or behind. You just are where you are, and you have your own journey with your horse in my mentorship. And again, this idea that we want to find, honor, address, and release momentarily, as well as residual tension, to create that clean slate for a reset. And let me just give a quick break here before I go into the areas of confidence. I just kind of want to see who is here. I want to see if you have any. Hi, Barbara. Hello, everybody. I see so many faces. This makes me so happy. I really did this out of the spur of a moment, and I was panicking today because I realized I am not as prepared as I wanted to be, but I thought, you know what, I'm doing it anyway. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop those in the comment section. If you're just kind of percolating and you have questions tomorrow, then just pop on Facebook, either send me a message or just go on my feed or post wherever you come from, because some people will have logged into the Zoom meeting and some people will see me live on Facebook. So wherever you're coming from, there is opportunity to ask questions. And I'm just going to look, because previously the chat showed up for me, and now the chat is not showing up for me, and I'm wondering why. Let me see here real quick whether I can grab the chat. If not, no worries. Then I will answer questions later. Oh, there it is. Okay. If you have questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. Right now, I don't see any. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen again. I just saw an interesting post about relationships and that they are not always equal, but you can disagree and still be friends. Is interconnectedness like this? That's a great question. I would say that with horse and human, I would like to be the lead mare. And my when I disagree with my horse, then I'm standing on a slippery slope. It's different with humans, right? When I disagree with my horse because the horse is a prey animal and we're a predator, we need to look at why our horse is disagreeing. And in general, what we bring to the table and how we show up will actually formulate our horse's reactions and responses in general. So if my horse disagrees with me, first of all, I feel I need to honor that. Just like if you have a friend, that we can honor that somebody doesn't have the same opinion, right? It's incredibly difficult right now because our world has become so polarized. But I want to look why my horse is disagreeing. I want to look at what the root cause is. That's a big part of my program. There's a symptom, and then we need to dig why the symptom is happening. We're finding the root cause, we're dissolving it. And from my perspective, because horses as prey animals want to feel safe, and when we can provide safety for them, then in general, they're happily and willingly following us and our suggestions, right? That is the best Zoom background I have ever seen. So I'm here in my 1935 little adobe cottage, and this is actually the old fireplace. And sadly, right now, it looks all intact on the inside, but it's not functioning yet, but it's on the list. And I absolutely love my little fireplace here in my little cottage. So thank you for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I will hop back over to sharing my screen, and we can get started with those 5 areas of confidence, which, in my opinion, those are these areas that we can make the biggest difference when it comes to feeling safe. And we can set it up that we can communicate with lightness. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit here, more about that, because some people say to me, lightness is not possible with my horse. And that's just how my horse is. And I beg to differ. I firmly believe that the key to lightness you will find in those 5 areas of confidence. And what we need to know when we start out to become the lead mare, we can't say, we can't say today, okay, I'm the lead mare now, and then everything is peachily fine, and we're suddenly the lead mare, and our horse sees us as the lead mare, and happily and willingly follows us into the sunset. It just isn't that way. First of all, we humans need to learn to become the lead mare. We need to learn to read our horse. And then we have these 5 areas of confidence that we need to address. And the more we become the lead mare and the more we rise in our willingness to become the lead mare, the less some of those areas will matter. But in the beginning, we need to address all of them. And it is super important to know that you need to understand your areas of comfort and confidence and your horse's area of comfort and confidence, and that they need to overlap. Where we're working, playing, hanging out, being with our horse, we have to know that those 2 areas overlap. When we have a very confident rider that's been there, done that, has trained horses for the last 50 years. I just had somebody in my class in Texas, super nice guy, right? A nice cowboy, right? He is into team roping, and he brought his 23-year-old gelding because his horse has trouble with plastic bags, and he's had the horse for a long time, and he's never really been able to fix that. but he can kind of micromanage the horse through it. And so he was very open to learn about my program, which in itself was already amazing. But here we have somebody that's super confident, right? Can sit on a horse and has trained young horses and done all kinds of things in the last 50 years. And he says, you know, it's just a plastic bag. Just look at it, just touch it. It's not going to eat you alive. And meanwhile, the horse is so tense and so tight. And the horse will look at the plastic bag and the horse will face, because that's what he's been told, but relaxation isn't happening. So the plastic bag continues to be a problem. And so I was able to hang out with the horse for 2 hours, and his owner said we made 150% improvement in just 2 hours. So I really hope that he will use the strategies that I showed him, because we can once and for all, even at the tender age of 23, help Mickey to understand that plastic bags don't matter. So we need to look at our current hierarchy. So over there, it says, analyze the 5 areas of confidence, how to grow your and your horse's confidence and comfort zone, with the purpose of avoiding and eliminating self-preservation and self-protection in horse and human. If you currently have confidence issues with your horse, then your brain, your body is in various levels of self-preservation and self-protection, depending on how much you honor your own comfort and confidence zone or not. Because the horse industry tells us in general, right? I just call it the horse industry. Get over yourself. I was told, don't be a weenie, show the horse who's boss, don't let her get away with that. She's trying to do that to get out of work. Make her do it. You have to get back on the horse to overcome your riding fear, etc., etc. If you can relate to that, pop a yes in the comment section. I honestly have heard them all. Students have told me about it. I was told it myself, you know, that don't be a weenie. That's what I was told when I said I don't want to get back on my horse again, when I was so scared. So the current hierarchy between you and your horse is currently seeing you in a certain light. And that might be, whether we like it or not, it's a fact, right? Our horse has a certain opinion of us. Our horse forms a certain opinion of us the moment we approach. So there is a general opinion, if we have a relationship with our horse, right, that our horse has formed. And then there is that temporary moment when we show up differently, right? Because we might have just had a hard day at work, we had a stressful talk with our teenager, and whatever that is, right, then we might show up very differently. And oh yes, she's behaving like that to get out of being ridden. Yes, yes, right. So yes, it's very common. And part of me making this presentation is because I really want to bring a way of revolutionizing the horse industry. I'm very passionate about wanting to create a difference in the big picture, not just one-on-one, one horse, one human at a time, but fostering change in the horse industry, because horses in general are suffering. And humans are too, because of how the horse industry is handling horses. So the current hierarchy and how your horse is currently seeing you is something that we need to look at. And a lot of times, especially when we're a heart-centered horse lover, our horse likes us, but our horse doesn't necessarily believe in us as the lead yet. And whenever we have something that isn't working yet, I would really encourage you to remember that 3-letter word, YET, because it makes such a big difference. When I'm saying my horse doesn't see me as the lead, and I put a period behind it, then that's it, right? When I say yet, then immediately we have an opening for change available, and that's so important. Number two is the environment, right? We humans in general have one big advantage when it comes to us versus what other horses can provide and what the herd can provide. We can, to a large amount, control the environment and what we expose our horse to. And when it comes to the environment, it's really important that we're looking at ourselves and we're looking at how much we want things that we're exposing our horse in an environment to that our horse is not ready for. For example, I want to hang out with my horses and go trail riding, but your horse isn't ready for it. I want to go showing, but your horse isn't ready for it. I want to blah, 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 and your horse isn't ready for it. And they're not ready for it might just be your horse isn't ready to feel safe and confident in the trailer. And when we make that decision to become the lead mare, we need to take a good hard look at where in what environments does our horse currently feel comfortable and confident? Where do we feel comfortable and confident? And where do these two areas overlap? And that will create safety for you and for your horse. And it doesn't mean that we can't change that. I'm not saying you can never go trail riding. I'm not saying you can never go showing, but I would encourage you to think about not yet. It is something that we put on our list. This is where I want to be. And we're looking at this is where I am. And then we're creating the roadmap for that. Previous experiences and trauma, right? So if you've ever fallen off your horse and you've gotten hurt, you have trauma and you will be worried, especially when you get older, that you're going to get hurt again, right? We say we don't bounce as well anymore. But here's the thing. I never want people to bounce. This whole idea of you're not a horseman, horsewoman, if you haven't fallen off your horse yet is a bunch of baloney, because it creates poor experiences for the horse and poor experiences for the human. And it's something that we want to set up in a way that it never happens in the first place. But your horse might have been abused. Your horse might have had trauma. And that's when we need to look at that and we need to take it into account how that affects our horse's ability to learn and to grow and prosper with us. The current position in the equine herd. Some horses are herd bound. People call it buddy sour, buddy sweet, barn sour, barn sweet. And the general idea is that that is a bad thing. It is a horsey thing. Horses feel safe in the herd. They're prey animals. The herd is providing safety for them. And when your horse is currently herd bound, buddy sour, buddy sweet, barn sour, barn sweet, all this means is that your horse does not see you as the lead yet and does not feel confident and comfortable with you in certain areas yet. That's what it means. And that goes back to us. And that sometimes, makes us feel crummy because, oh, it's me, right? But yes, it really is us. And it gives us this amazing opportunity to grow and prosper as a human. And to set it up that our horse will say, of course, I leave my friends because you're so amazing. You're so awesome. I always feel safe. I always feel confident with you. Why would I not want to go with you? Right? That's what we want to set up. But right now we need to consider that. How far can I go away from the herd that my horse does not lose trust in me? Most people will tell you make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult. When you go on Google right now, I haven't done it in a while, but when I did research herd bound, when you type in herd bound, there was one video of a gentleman that said, well, this is what you do. where the horse, wants to be, you just ride, and you just, make the horse tired. And then you go to the place where your horse doesn't want to be, and then you give the horse rest there. And he is not using my words, I'm just describing what I saw. And this is not nice. It's not kind, it's not caring. It is not building a relationship built on, I like my human. It's built on dominance, control. You will do what I tell you to, or else. That's basically what make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult means. And I used to teach it as a Pirelli instructor before I knew better. The key is we need to gradually increase our comfort and confidence zone for ourselves as well as for our horse. Last but not least, where's my slide? Well, that's interesting. Where did my slide go? Where is the fifth slide? Okay, I'm just going to tell you what should be there since it's not showing up. The personality. Your horse's personality, whether your horse is by nature confident or less confident, whether your horse is more an extrovert or an introvert, will play a role. Back then, when I was a Pirelli instructor, I used to teach humanality and horsenality. It's important to know that your horse's personality and your personality plays a role. But again, the more you become the lead mare, the less that matters. Things like my horse is lazy, right? Horses are never lazy in the herd. I'm going to anthropomorphize to make a point. The lead mare leaves because she is ready to go to the water. There's not going to be one horse that's going to say, oh, I feel so lazy today. You guys go ahead and I'll come later. Horses will talk with us like that. There will be no horse that's bored. I'm too bored to go to the water hole. I'm too bored to go with you guys. I'm just going to stay here. This just doesn't happen. These conversations happens with humans. And in my opinion, what we perceive as boredom, as laziness, on those anthropomorphic titles that we give our horse's behavior, is the horse lacking trust in us. And particularly when you have a confident horse, the horse might not want to do what you want the horse to do. And then we're saying the horse is bored, the horse is lazy, but in the end, the horse says, you're not my lead, period. And we can change that. So I'm going to go ahead. Do you think horsenalities is valid? Yes, I totally think it's valid. I'm going to take a little break here so you guys can see me again. There are horses that are more confident by nature. There are horses that are less confident by nature. There are horses that are introverts, and there are horses that are extroverts, and various levels in between, right? There are strategies that if you look up horsenality on Google, I don't know whether it's still being taught, because for a while it was not taught when Linda and Pat Pirelli split up, and I don't know who got the rights to teach it or not, but you probably can find it somewhere. And I find these strategies valid, but I've also seen that people then like to put their horse in a box, right? And to me, that's also a problem when it comes to human personality assessment programs. I'm XYZ B356, right? For example, I'm just making something up. And then we're constantly looking at that. Well, this is how I am. But when we're looking at the comfort and confidence zone, then you might be showing a different personality at home than at work. And you might be showing a different personality when you're a group of 5 people versus when you're at a big convention with 1,000 people. A few years back, I was at a workshop and there were literally 1,000 people in that room, and it gave me like I had to get out of there, right? And so we were supposed to mingle with people for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I went at lunch. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I went across the street and I met the pigeon lady in the park, and I sat with her and I fed pigeons, right? Because I couldn't, like, I had to get out of here. So your comfort and confidence zone will be different in the environment, what you have experienced in your life, in what society you're in, what religion you might follow or not follow. And I see the same thing with the horses. And what I saw when I was teaching at the ranch, people would say, well, my horse does XYZ because he's a left brain introvert, right? Left brain introvert, the lazy, the being bored, what's in it for the horse and all of that. But in the end, what that program was actually about was to know about all the different things and to center your horse and to help your horse go back to the center. And that was very much missed. And there was a lot of categorizing and making excuses versus using the strategies to effectively create a change for horse and human, right? It's the same thing if I say, well, I'm an introvert and that's why I'm never gonna do XYZ. We're limiting ourselves in what we can do. And I feel that the more we learn to grow our comfort and confidence for ourselves and for our horse, the better we're off in life, because life is so unpredictable. And the more we learn how to deal with changes and with the unknown and with the uncertainty, the better we're off, right? And I just believe the same thing for our horse. The more we can gradually, step by step, introduce our horse to different environments, to just different things that happen in humans will, the better they're off. But yeah, there's definitely a whole lot of truth to it. And when it comes to humanality, that is based on Dr. Patrick Hanley's Insight Inventory. And that was one of the first things that I did when I quit Pirelli. I became an Insight Inventory coach, instructor, whatever you want to call it. Because that is a program that takes into account that you can show up differently. And then it goes into this whole idea, why are you showing up differently? And how can that knowledge help us to grow and prosper and to develop ourselves as a human, and why we're here in Earth School, right? So any other questions? Otherwise, I would go ahead and go back to my sharing the screen. There we are. Okay, so I started talking about what is this makeover all about? And now we're getting to it. What is that makeover all about? So I have decided, last month I decided I do not want to sell self-study courses, because I personally want to have the interactions with the students. And I believe that a cookie cutter program can make some changes and can facilitate positive change, but on a limited basis. And I believe that the more you customize what you're doing to your needs, to your horse's needs, and to your schedule, the better you're off. So I didn't want to do the courses, but I believe that in a membership where people are in it and they're part of the community and they can choose different levels of support, that what I want to achieve can actually happen. And I have not created the whole meat and potatoes completely, totally yet, but it should be ready to present sometime next week. So my general idea is that this will be somewhere between $29 and $197. When you're looking at my 10-week course, that is 10 weeks, and that's $997. And then right now I only offer an annual extension because, again, I love that people stick around, that I get to know people. And the longer people are in the program, the more I can help them. And this idea that we're layering these experiences and the program in a spiral, and that we can recreate another layer and another layer, another layer, and you can refine these principles more and more and more, right? And that there is really the growth and the learning opportunity that I'm excited about. I created starting in 2020, the masterclass, which was called Confidence for Horse and Human. And then last year, I created the Get Started with Interconnection course, where I showed up 5 times every week and I presented one lesson and it was done live. And then there are some workshops in there, and there is the Change That Will Stick course, and there are all kinds of things in the classroom right now. And I've come to the realization that there is so much in there that people get FOMO and they don't know what to look at first, and they kind of pick and choose, and then there is confusion, right? And the last thing that I want is confusion. So I am in the process of creating a new and improved classroom platform, and that this whole makeover is done with students' feedback. I've been listening intently for the last few months what students have told me in my mentorship, and there will be 3 um, subjects that we focus on. First of all, us the human, because we need to have an understanding what we're doing, what we're not doing, what our horse needs us to do in order to become the lead mare, and why we can't do it yet, and what we need to change. And so there is that opportunity to really focus on ourselves and think about it as a self-development program. And my first week in the Get Started with Interconnection course is called the Spa Week, because I don't want people to think that this is like, oh, I don't want to talk about myself. Imagine that this is actually something that you're doing for yourself, and it's like getting a pedicure or doing, a bath with Epsom salt and candles and flowers around you and reading a good book. It's self-indulgence, and it's something that we're doing for ourselves because it will make our life better. And therefore we become, a different person and human for our horse, where we have that level of communication that we want to have. And that when we're on the ground, I prefer to start at liberty and just mix online in as we go. And that there will be what I wanted to do during the winter, but I couldn't do because of all the rain and mud season that we had, that we're getting more, that I redo the writing element and I actually show you what I do when I haven't ridden in a while, and how I prepare the horses, and how that all works from a perspective of interconnections. I'm super, super excited to do this. And all my current mentorship students will, of course, become founding members at no cost whenever you are in my mentorship. Anything that I do is free for you, right? Then there will be, for founding members, an exclusive access behind the scenes that other people don't get to see. You will be involved in that creation process through feedback, and there will be some goodies for you doing this. And this idea that you have the opportunity to support a worthwhile course by really making a difference in the horse industry, and by pointing out what's really not working for horses and how we can facilitate change. And I will create a drawing for everybody that will become a founding member. There will be a 1-week retreat. There will be a 10-week mentorship that I will give away, and a year-long membership. And this is all almost done. It's all in my head, and I have to all write it down and put it out and put it in slides and all of that. But if you are interested in becoming a part of this whole makeup and to be part of the Jenny and Connections Horsewoman membership. I need to make sure that I don't mix this up. So the mentorship is my program where we have 12 meetings every month, where students send in videos on a weekly basis, where people get weekly homework, where I get to know people the most because I see the video, I meet the human, I meet the horse via video, and we're creating that customized roadmap for the horse's needs, for the human's needs, and according to human schedule. And that is really my highest tier, along with my retreats and clinics here at the farm and elsewhere. So if you're all interested in wanting to learn more, make sure that you let me know in the comment section. I will continue to go live with presentations about the program throughout next week. And I might, if I can use the same Zoom link, I will. I have to look into Zoom whether that's possible once I've used it. If not, I will let you know what the link will be. And that was pretty much my big announcement. And I wanted to go to the grocery store and get myself a little bottle of champagne, but I ran out of time. So just imagine this is what it is. Big announcement. I do have a glass of tea here, fairy tea it's called. So cheers, everybody. I'm excited about this makeover and creating an even better classroom experience, and also helping people that don't necessarily want to jump in the mentorship to move forwards with their horses. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I can't believe that I actually stuck to my timeline. Anybody that knows me knows that I am always such a detailed orientated person that I talk more than I should. So yay for me for being on time with a 1 hour presentation. If you have any questions, pop them in the comment section. I'm happy to go ahead and do that and answer questions. I will go into the Facebook Live and we'll look for the questions tomorrow, because at 6 I'm actually meeting with my mentorship students. So I won't have time to do that today, but I'll make sure I'll answer all the questions. If you are excited about the membership, post that in the comment section. Let me know. And other than that, I don't see here any questions in the Zoom call, because most people that are here on Zoom, they are in the mentorship and they have already heard a little bit about this. So thank you so much for being here. And keep me posted, Petra. I'll contribute as I can. And Vince says this, and there you are, Adele. And awesome. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. This is like, I feel like a big milestone and an opportunity to really go more in the limelight and share about what horses needs and how we can profit and grow as a human by learning more about that. So thank you, thank you. As I always say in my mentorship group meetings, be blessed and with lots of love, because love makes everything better, including our horse womanship. Bye now, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.